You know how this go overseas, get your passport, SYSBM stuff is some bullshit? I'm about to tell you how. How convenient and how easy is it for men to tell you that all these women in America, all these women in the West ain't no good. They're hypergamous. They monkey branching. The woman's nature. They all hoes and sleeping around. The women that you see every day at work, at the mall, at the store, at the gym, everywhere. Oh, there's something wrong with all of them. But I got these mysterious women that you cannot see that's in a whole nother part of the world, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you how amazing these mystery women are. Now, I'm not going to tell you I was over there tricking. I was over there spending money. I was over there spending time with prostitutes. I was over there in massage parlors. I'm not going to tell you that. Nor am I going to tell you how infrequently I'm over there. Because I'm only over there a weekend, maybe a week, 2-3 times out the whole year, maybe 10-15 days out of all the days in the year. I'm not going to tell you that I've only interacted with a couple of women. Because let's be real, these dudes that do this are unsuccessful with women in the States. So as soon as they go overseas and find a woman that's paying them any kind of attention, they get laser tunnel vision on that one. So it's not even like they're interacting with a large population of the women in these other countries in the first place. On top of that, most of them don't marry the women. Hardly any of them bring the woman back to the States with them. So here it is, I'm telling you, all these great women in these other places, even though I've only met a few women, and when I'm dealing with them, I'm tricking and spending money on them, and I will never bring them back, and I will never marry them, and I will never get in a relationship with them, but I'm telling you that this is a viable solution? Bro, it's a scam. It doesn't make any logical sense.
Whew. Goddamn, man. I felt like my man had a lot to say to get off his chest and shit. But hey, man, that's what I'm here to do, man. Watch the video, react to the video, and let y'all know my thoughts on my man calling the passport bros a scam, all right? First things first, man. Shout out to the IPA, International Passport Association and affiliates, man. First time to the channel, man, make sure you drop your like, all that good stuff. All my good stuff listed in the link in the description area below. So, what I hear a lot in this video is a lot of generalizations, right? We hear a lot of generalizations about passport brethren and passport men. Now, first things first, let me speak for me, because I can't speak for everybody, but let me speak for myself. I have definitely felt as though dating women in the West has been an uphill battle for a lot of guys, right? So what I would honestly say is that I choose, or I recommend guys choose to date abroad, because I feel like you'll have a lot more success and less of the headache, right? So I want to make sure I make this abundantly clear. I have never said that 100% of the women in the West are bad. They're no good. Hypergamous, they deal with all the monkey branch like my man said in the video. I've never said that personally for me, right? That's not my verbiage, man. That's not the way that I talk, and that's not the way that I speak. Unfortunately, I do believe that the majority ruins it for the minority. And it becomes very difficult if you talk to this girl, this girl, this girl, and this girl prior to choosing a date overseas, and they all seem to follow the same pattern. I think that's what a lot of guys fall into when it comes to dating women in the West, and that's kind of what builds their mindset to going abroad. Now, my man's over here talking about all passport men do is trick on women, right? Or trick on women abroad, right? They go to the clubs, they deal with strippers, they deal with prostitutes, they deal with whores and things like that. Not true. Not true at all, right? To be honest with you, I don't like those circles, man. The red light districts, that's not my steez, right? And I can find quite a few passport brethren who choose to avoid those areas as well. Are they fun? Absolutely, right? Is it a good place to go hang out and see what the scene is like? Absolutely. But to find a woman in those sections and to deal with the women in those sections, you're almost setting yourself up for failure. Every passport brethren should know that. If you're looking to get your rocks off and have a little fun, I'm not gonna stand in your way. But if you're looking to find quality relationships, you're not gonna find that in the bottle, and on Walker Street. Well, that's pretty much the places in Southeast Asia. They call them Walker Streets, where all the bars are, right? But my man's over here talking about, yo man, y'all only deal with prostitutes, and you're talking about all these exotic women, but you're not dealing with a quality group of women. You're only talking to one woman at a time, or the only one woman you're talking with at a time comes from the bar scene. And so you're trying to tell these guys that you met this great woman and all you're doing is tricking and spending money on her. But I can tell you that's not always true, my brother. That is not always true. Right? If you meet a young lady online, right? Let's say you do an online dating site, right? Not always my steez, but again, like I said, everybody has their way of going about it. Sometimes you meet a girl before you go to whatever country you're looking to travel to. You talk to them online, you talk a little game to them, you think you're getting it in, you have a little conversation, it sounds good. You know, I'm gonna meet you when I get there, you set it up. A lot of guys are doing that. But yet and still, you make it seem like all the passport brethren are running the bars when there are other viable options to meet women before even getting abroad, or even when you actually get abroad. You can walk down the street in Philippines, man, and you'll probably find a young lady that'll pique your interest, right? We don't always have to go to the strip clubs to find women, but that's what my man is making it seem like. Back to the generalizations of it all. Not mad at you, pimpin'. I just want to know where all this energy is coming from, right? I understand. You started out by saying we all talk about how all these women in the West are bad. There are some guys out there. I ain't gonna cap. There are a couple guys out there that say every woman in the West is horrible. Don't date the West at all. There's a lot of guys that say that shit. Me, I just say the majority ruins it for the minority, right? To say that we all deal with prostitutes and all that shit, and that's the only type of women we could get, hella false, because I can show you a lot of guys that be getting some badass women that have nothing to do with the bar scene, right? Now, when you talk about some of these passport guys only spending limited time abroad, right? I can't really argue against that fact as well, because there are a couple of guys that may not be able to get off work and go abroad as frequently as they want to, right? How much time they spend abroad is up to them, right? How they choose to spend it is up to them. But let me bring back a narrative that I feel like we really need to hone in on, because you seem to focus a lot on brothers dealing with prostitutes or strippers or dealing with these types of women and stuff like that. I've said it in a video before, and I'm gonna say it in this video right now. The prostitution of time, the prostitution of all that shit is still the same. And it happens in the West too. And you have all these girls putting Cash Apps, Venmos, and PayPals in their biography, and you have to be able to spend money on them before they even give you time. You still paying, right? You still gonna pay for it if you want a woman to fucking pay attention to you in the West. Tell me I'm lying. The majority of the women in the West with these online dating profiles, if that's how you choose to deal with them or that's how you choose to talk to them, you gonna sit there and tell me that you ain't gonna have a girl coming at you talking about they need their hair and their nails done, or they need this, or they need a bill paid and all that shit. So if you're dealing with the same issues in the West, and you gonna tell me that you're not, but in the East or wherever you're choosing to travel that's foreign or abroad, you gonna sit there and say, oh, y'all just dealing with prostitutes. With all due respect, pimping, if these guys are getting laid, whether you like it or not, at least they getting some, right? I don't have to pay a woman just for her to even talk to me like that. Like how they be doing in the West and shit. Tell me I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right? Tell me you ain't never had a girl say, cash at me this, or, help me pay for my nails to pay for that shit. And that's what they get from a lot of guys if they want to even remotely get any of their time. If a guy's getting laid, whether you agree or disagree with it, you can't really argue with it, right? But here's the truth about me, right? Again, I can only speak for myself. You were talking about, yo, man, y'all be over here dating these women and you don't even want to bring them back to the United States. I did, right? Y'all don't even want to marry these women abroad. Y'all just here just having fun with them and doing and disrespecting them and leaving them over there. You don't even want to marry them. I did, right? I'm that guy, right? So whether I become the rarity or the minority or however you want to slice it, I'm one of the guys that said that I did everything that you say a passport bro doesn't do. This guy. My wife is Filipina. We've been together for quite a few years. Spent a lot of time over there in that country. My wife's been here for, I would say, let's see, I want to say close to 6 months now, a little over 6 months now. She gets along very well. Our relationship is just fine, right? So for you, all the guys or all the people who say, yo, y'all don't be bringing these women back to the United States. Again, I understand the guys that get with women overseas and don't want to bring them back to the United States because there is a high potential chance of them being tainted by Western ways, right? That's truth. That shit exists. Whether you like it or not, that shit exists. The taintedness of the Western ways, that shit is out there. Whether you agree or disagree with it, whether you like it or not, that shit exists. And a lot of guys don't want to bring their women around that shit. And you got to be able to respect the reasons why. Again, with the generalization aspect of it all women in the West are bad, I wouldn't say that. I have quality relationships with people in the West. I have quality relationships with women in the West. Ain't got nothing to do with me wanting to date them or be with them or anything. But I can get along with damn near anybody. I'm a chameleon in this bitch. Black chameleon, but I'm a chameleon in this bitch. I understand that sometimes you're gonna need certain people to make things happen, right? So for me to come on here and say all the nonsense and all the bullshit that I spew, I make sure that I focus specifically on dating women in the West and all of the trials and tribulations and challenges. Not necessarily because you can't get women in the West, but even if you did get women in the West and you realize sometimes that shit just ain't worth it, now you're just changing your mindset and you want to seek opportunities abroad. These women are exotic. They're a little bit more fun. And you see a lot of brethren, myself included, dating, marrying, and dealing with women abroad, and their relationships are pretty much successful. That's what's really causing a lot of these guys to transition their mindset into wanting to go and be abroad. Not so much, oh, we dealing with prostitutes and hoes and shit, or oh, y'all can't get women in the West and all this stuff, because I've seen quite a few guys that could get women in the West. They just realized that the relationships that they had with women in the West just wasn't of the quality they were looking for, right? And again, you can go into the, oh, y'all just want a maid or somebody you can groom and all this stuff. I mean, look, bruh, everybody wants a relationship that is suitable for them. I can't tell you what the fuck they do in their relationship. That ain't got shit to do with me. But what I can say is that the majority of the passport brethren are just looking for a little bit of respect, man. And sometimes that's very hard to get in the United States simply because the system don't really fuck with us like that. As men, the system really doesn't favor us at all. So you wonder why a lot of guys aren't marrying and are dealing with women in the West. They know the system, if they do choose to go all the way, it ain't gonna be in their favor just in case shit hits the fan. So that's why I can't hate on a man for wanting to choose to date a woman abroad. They see value in it. They see other guys who have found value in it. And maybe these guys out here spewing that nonsense are just trying to figure themselves out. Maybe they're just a bunch of assholes pimping. I don't know. All I do know is this. Found mines. I've done my thing overseas. And I can honestly say, on that side of the world where I was at, oh, that shit was fun, right? We had some good times, man. And we didn't have to deal with prostitutes, man. I went to school out there, man. That shit was fun. That shit was fun. You feel me? You imagine college life in the United States, college life in the Philippines is probably just as lit, for sure. Especially with women looking to, you know, never mind, I'm a married man, let me stop that shit. But I know y'all feel where I'm coming from, picking up what I'm putting down. Pimping, I respect your point of view of it all. And what I'm starting to realize is, again, I've said it time and time again, there's subsets to this shit, man. Not every passport brethren gonna be on point, right? There's subsets to this shit. I think, shout out to the homie, Brazil Yesh, right? I follow that brother, respect that brother. And I think that there is somewhat of a separation, whether you like it or not, between passport bros and blue book gentlemen. There's a big ass difference. Blue book gentlemen handle themselves accordingly, right? They handle themselves like men. They do what they need to do. They deal with quality women abroad. They ain't about the bullshit, the nonsense, or the fuckery. It ain't always about dealing with the girls at the strip clubs and all that stuff. And that may be a subset of men where a lot of us are going to probably find ourselves when there may be a couple of guys out there that may shine a negative light on the passport bro movement. And that's all I'm saying about that one, because I feel like this is where this might be going. Because you say passport bros, and then you hear all these guys talking this nonsense, and they going ham on the passport brethren. And again, as a fellow passport brethren, I feel like I got a right to come through and just say my piece about it all. But I'm starting to understand that there are some guys out there spewing some negativity and putting out some of the negative views that these people are reacting to when it comes to the passport group as a whole, I should say. All right, but that's just me talking my nonsense. Who gives a fuck what I gotta say except me and a couple of people who follow me. If you don't follow me right now. Hey man, y'all drop a like, man, share, comment, subscribe, man. Good Doc, I highly appreciate that one, man. Y'all know what time it is, man. It's time for the Good Doc to go and get the getting. Y'all, hey, take care, man. Stay blessed. Doc is out. Peace.